Greetings, fellow millers and coopers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Farthest Frontier 1.0. Episode 9, Wheat, Flour, and Barrels. There's all our flax fiber. So speaking of the flax fiber, my builders can't actually make the farm fields during winter because, you know, it's too frozen to do any of the tilling. So what I'm going to do instead is to set up the granary stuff. So I'm putting I also have a dire need for timber. Cut down some trees. So I'm gonna build my granary here, and then windmill here. I do find it funny that, like, everyone shelters all at the same time. And then they, like, pop back out. It's like, excuse my crudeness, but like shag season, if you know what I mean. And then they're like, alright, we're done. So the windmill's yet another heavy tool requiring sight. But we do have two heavy tools now, so we can afford to do that. So I'm going to start to allow regular tools to be manufactured, because our regular tools are like a big fat zero, and we do have a nice surplus of iron, so that shouldn't be the bottleneck for heavy tools. Hopefully. And it looks like we'll go with cooperage after we get the next point in scientific discovery. So there's still a bunch of shelters that don't have multiple food sources. Taking a look. I might need another smokehouse to keep up with my 6 hunters. So this house, for instance, has fruit, but not greens. Some of that is just on supply. So the other thing I could do is to go over to my market and set up another market supplier to make sure that the market has the goods that everyone wants. That ought to help as well. Of course, I'm drawing from the same, like, tiny labor pool, so hopefully we'll have a bit of a population boon to help with our labor shortage. Peas lost to disease. So that, crud. If you recall, we had, I'll just leave this blank. We had transitioned this field over from what it was to cabbage to avoid the stem rot from spreading, but it didn't go away after one season. So I'm just skipping a whole crop growth season to avoid a more catastrophic result. Crops ready for assignment. So the first assignments they're going to get is just a whole bunch of work in the fields. And we'll reduce this to 2 workers. And then the knowledge we generated is going to be knowledge for more knowledge. Fortunately, there's just about nothing I even want to trade to Atka here. I don't want to sell my raw ore, and I'm not producing anything else that interests her, so no trade there. Let's go ahead and plow the other fields that were going to be wheat. I'm going to shut down the windmill for now, and then I'm also going to set production quotas. So for wheat, for flour, I'm going to say between 150 and 200. So the long and short of it is, raw grain lasts a very long time in a granary. Milled grain, meaning flour, and then baked grain, meaning bread, does not last very long. So it's really smart to keep most of your grain in the raw form so it doesn't rot. But I have nothing to mill right now, so I'm going to have the windmill be disabled until we actually have some wheat. Oh my god. I keep expanding more industries despite the fact that our pop growth hasn't changed much. And what's crazy about that is I have I've already like added religion and entertainment. So the fact that we don't have a lot of immigrants despite adding a whole bunch of public services, for lack of a better term. It's like, oh god. I can't help it. We may want another house up here, too. Oh, we got raiders coming in. Okay,
At once.
I'm gonna have my fighters go south and my hunters go north. It's going to be a little annoying because I'm going to have to micromanage both. So you are all minus Corella hunters. And then Corella, you can go back to what you were doing.
What is it?
And then these hunters... Oh, wow, my fighters are already getting in position. You guys go up there. It would be good for me to start investing in physical defenses so that I can... Because they usually come in from two directions, so that I can more easily defend with one army. There we go. I'm going to set my combatants to auto-attack these enemies so that I can micromanage this fight with my hunters. So here's 4 hunters firing on their archer. It looks like they brought in more enemies to the north than the south. Because I think...
Your command?
Shoot. Run, Viola. Looks like we're just about done cleaning up the south. And as you can see, Alfar is hard to kill because he's got high armor.
It will be done. It will be done.
No! Vittoria, or whatever your name is. I know you're out of arrows, but don't do that! Oh god, so much happening at once. And we also have trade opportunities. Yay! I'm completely overwhelmed. There's literally nothing that they even want to buy from me, so firing my trader. Alright, the enemies in the south are dead. I'm gonna have my troops... Nope. My troops go north.
What needs doing?
And I'm trying to keep everyone from dying, which is, troublesome. But they are mostly dead now. They only have 4 thieves left out of all the... they probably came in with like... I don't know, 20? Alright, Rachala, your life is a little scary low. And it's saying victory because they're running. There we go. Done. My army returned to garrison. So we were raided. We killed 15 of them. 18 of them showed up. I actually killed all 18 and lost nothing. Right on. But as you can imagine, that would have been a lot harder to deal with without a proper garrison. And now that we have a bunch of homesteads, I can invest some of our capital into more troops too. Whoa, that is a lot of graduations. I'm going to do a quick save and load for the warning about the raiders to go away. Because it will, it's a known playtest bug. It will just like sit there forever. So I haven't been investing tech points into defenses, but after I get, because you guys voted for cooperage, after I get cooperage, I'll offer palisades to stone walls as a development path so that you can vote on it if you want me to have walls. Because there's sort of like two ways to be able to deal with raiders. One is to wall up and have like one big army stomp them out. And the other is to, the other way is to have like lookout towers kind of everywhere. The trouble is lookout towers is very like high tax burden. So it tends not to be the path I take. But taking a look at the tech tree, getting stone walls, I need to invest 3 points. So 2 in defensive barricades, 1 in palisades, and then I'll be able to unlock stone walls. So I'll add that to the poll. And actually, let's poll now, because I'm about to get a tech point for cooperage. So then I'll be saving up for whatever's next. Oh, food store is looking not so good. That will change pretty quickly as we collect beans and meat and stuff. I'm not concerned, but it was like a brief shock, if you will. Alright, one of the other things I wanted to do, food production. I'm going to put a root cellar over here, specifically for smoked meats and meat. And one of the things that will help us with food spoilage is now that I have barrel making, I can build a cooper, which is in, oddly enough, storage. And I'll build the cooper right next to the saw pit. Building a cooper and having the cooper make barrels to reduce spoil rates. I only have one person working at a smokehouse, right? Yeah. So this is my only smokehouse. Okay. So the root cellar up there is going to be just for meat. Smoked meats. Well, I'm glad I put the smokehouse directly next to the well, because they got a little over eager with what they were smoking. They started smoking the walls as well. So, at the start of next season, let's go ahead and actually queue up some grains. So a grain cycle is a -7 fertility, which is pretty brutal, which means we need to offset it with other things. So if we plant wheat, so there's wheat, buckwheat, and rye. Wheat is the highest yield, so I figure we might as well do that. But wheat ruins fertility and encourages weeds. Buckwheat is pretty low fertility and is not frost tolerant at all, so you have to be careful when you grow it. But it does not impact fertility all that badly, and it grows quickly and has good weed suppression. And then rye is sort of like the slightly nerfed wheat. Basically, wheat and rye are nearly the same. Wheat's a slightly higher yield. But it's more frost tolerant than wheat. So if I'm doing wheat, I think the way I want to lay out my schedule here is like a work cycle then wheat, and then adjust the soil mixture for wheat. So like add 20 sand to it. If we're doing that, then I'm going to intersperse like beans. So maybe this year will be a clover bean cycle, like that. Meaning that this field is going to go clover beans, then wheat. And then, we have to figure out what the last crop will be. Maybe it will be cabbage. I also don't have fodder or hay, which is, I'm not going to worry about fodder right now, but fodder is one of those things that you would need if you want to start ranching animals. Because in the winter, animals can't graze, so you need harvested fodder to be able to feed them. Are we building up a surplus of candles? I have no candles. I have 3 candle makers. So a 50th of my population just about makes candles, and I still don't have a surplus of candles? Okay. And it looks like you guys want stone wall tech next. Got it. I'm surprised I haven't had more opportunities to bring in more people, pop-wise. Candles are used in the academy studying at night. Feels like it. Wonder where all that money goes. Alright, it looks like we're pretty good on heavy tools now. We have a nice 3 supply of spare heavy tools so that our industries that rely on heavy tools can't go belly up overnight, which is great. So we should just be working on normal tools for the most part once we hit like the 5 cap or whatever. We have a lot of raw coal and iron, but I suppose it's fine. My food is concerning, but I know that I'm about to have a windfall of like wheat and beans, so I'm not immediately worried about that. Alright, and the Cooper build site is nearly done. Nice. I think it's very wise to rush cooperage, because if you check your food, as you can see, like, almost half of the food that we consume, we spoil so much food. So reducing spoilage is pretty important. There we go. Finally, some immigrants. We're still lacking labor pool, but at least we got a few more. So here's the Cooper. And now that we have a Cooper, what I want to do is I want to go around to make sure that we are storing our barrels where we need them most. Checking all of the places that can use barrels. So that is root cellar. Oh, and I forgot to do the root cellar. So this root cellar, I'm going to say no barrels. Actually, no, barrels is fine. But I'm going to say in this root cellar, raw meat, smoked meat, raw fish, and smoked fish are the only allowables. Because this is next to all the hunters. This doesn't allow barrels. This doesn't allow barrels. This doesn't allow barrels. So right now, the barrels are... The only valid spots for our Cooper to store barrels is the root cellars that we have. Which is the most important part, because greens spoil faster than really everything else. Same with fruit. So having our root cellars, which have the highest rate of spoilage, also benefit from the barrels is great. So the barrels is... You can have up to 10 barrels in your root cellar, and each barrel adds 4% spoil reduction. So you can essentially get up to 40% spoil reduction, which is pretty massive considering how much food that we do end up spoiling. So now that the work cycle for the crop fields are done, what is the third crop? Cabbage, probably. So let's start counting out. The only issue that I have with cabbage is it might be too fertility rough. But let's count out the fertility cycle. So this clover is a +3. And then the cabbage is a -4. So that's a net -1. And then this is -7. So that's a net -8. And then this is a +3. So that's net +5. And then the beans is a +1. So it's a net -4 for all of this. So cabbage is probably the wrong food. The worry that I have is if we do beans and then peas, the disease could carry over. So the other solution might be... boy, I don't know. Wheat is not very frost tolerant, because the other thing I was thinking about is if we did a clover wheat cycle, and hopefully we harvest the wheat before it freezes. So that's +3, +3, +1, -7, meaning that year 2 and 3 are neutral, allowing us to have a work, clover, turnip, perhaps? So counting this up, it's +3, -2, so +1, +4, -3, neutral, +1. So this cycle of turnips, wheat, beans gives us a +1 fertility year over year. And it makes sure that we don't have we don't have the same types of crops grown often enough to promote disease. So I like it. The turnips won't have fertility soil bonuses, but like not a big deal. So I think this is the cycle we'll do. So we have turnips at the top. So this will be turnips in the middle. And this will be turnips at the bottom. So the turnip cycle is work, clover, turnips. Pulled all the way to the right, because turnips are frost tolerant, hating. So planting them late in the season's fine. So work, clover, turnips. There we go. And then this is clover then wheat in the middle. So we'll do clover wheat at the top here. And then clover wheat at the bottom on this third field. Like that. And then the last one is clover beans. So this is clover beans bottom, clover beans middle, and this will be clover beans top. Something like that. Beans are not cold tolerant, so yeah, make sure... Actually, I think we'll do it like that. I want to keep the beans from being harvested too late in the season to avoid frost damage. Okay. We'll see how that works. The disease on the other farm field got cured. So this was supposed to be... So you know what I might end up doing? Is replacing the peas, pea flax, to something else other than peas, so that it can't... We avoid more of the disease issues. So if we did carrots... The soil mixture sucks for carrots, but like, let's do it anyway. So peas, carrots, cabbage. And that way, these fields are a little bit more disease resilient. The other thing I need to do is to calculate the fertility cycles for 3 years. So this is +3. So this year is a -1. This year is a +4. So +3 total. And then carrots are a -3. Oh no, this is going to be a problem. -3. That doesn't work either, because this is too negative. So this is a -6. So it's not offset. So not carrots then. Oh man. We could do clover flax, I guess. So this is a -1. This is a +4. And then this is a neutral. So it's +3 year over year. Yeah, I guess that's fine. It's a little bit less food, but fertility should allow it to be high yields. I guess. Mostly what I'm aiming for is like a set and forget. I want a crop rotation that won't have diseases to be micromanaged. Nothing like that, because it gets annoying. So here we go. We've managed the new fields. A copy and paste setting would be great. Yeah. Well, there's also like a bug where like sometimes when you go to click the crop, you can't even clear select a crop. And it would also be nice if there was just a button to like clear all of them all at once. Like a third button to be like remove all settings. That'd be great. So you guys voted for me to work towards stone walls. So for that, I need to get palisades or barricades and palisades. So I'm not going to bother investing in it until we have enough knowledge acquired. The other thing is, now that I have flax, there's two other things I can do with it. So there's paper making and also weaving. So I did want to get a paper maker. I'll plop that. Oh, we don't have clay bricks, so I'm not going to do the paper mill just yet. So instead, we'll get the weaving building to start to make linen clothing. So I'll update the priority. Forget the paper mill for now. Set up grain industry and flax industry. So I now have wheat. Where is my wheat? Oh, no, it's coming next year. Okay. So the other thing that I was thinking about doing is if we go to food production, go down to bakery. If I place a bakery in the corner down here, it helps with the desirability. So getting a bakery where the houses are the least desirable will be pretty helpful. So I'll build a bakery down there. I'm not going to have anyone working in the bakery until we actually have flour, but I think that should nudge the desirability enough. And at the moment, we have a severe plank shortage, so I'll just hire a bunch of plankers. I think I can probably reduce the amount of coal miners and iron miners for now, but I might need to readjust that as our population grows back, because we did have a surplus of that. And then maybe one more forge worker, because we don't have a surplus of tools. We're like, we really just don't have a good surplus of food. I think once bread is fully underway, that will be far less of an issue. But we're kind of dancing on a knife's edge here for food. Regardless, a bunch of the houses are becoming homesteads. Even more so. It does get to a point where once you have a nice amount of trade goods to sell and you're trading with the traders, you can always buy like smoked meats and things like that to help bolster your poor food production numbers, especially if you have like droughts or crop diseases or heat waves that kill crops or frost, early frost that kills crops, to adjust for it. Another thing I could consider is, what is our tree maturity here? Alright, the trees are pretty mature, so at this point we might want more arborists to help to collect the fruit, because I think we're not getting full yield off of these orchards as a result. The cooperage will start helping with the food spoilage, absolutely. Once we invest enough time in and iron and planks into barrels. The barrels don't last forever, so the barrels do wear out over time, meaning that there's always a need for the cooperage to make more barrels. But speaking of which, before I forget, quota. Let's keep between 10 and 15 barrels in our stockpiles at all times, ready to be offered to storage facilities that need them. So this should be year of the bread. This crop field, pretty high fertility, pretty low weeds, no rocks, and we'll be growing wheat. Does the stockpile count all barrels, including worn out ones? No. The stockpile, so this like minimum requirement only counts what you have like ready to be placed. So the barrels that are installed here don't count towards that number. So these two root cellars that have 1 barrel each aren't adding to that. It's the barrels it counts is the barrels that are just like sitting around in a stockpile ready to be filled with something. Zero salvage progress. Oh my god. We have such a labor pool shortage. So the pear and apple trees aren't very mature, but the peach trees are quite mature. Regardless, I think it's still wise to get more arborists. Okay, we are in luck. I have loads of hides, thanks to my hunters, and she's buying them at high prices. So, absolutely gonna make a killing selling to Atka today. Or this season, I should say. Worst case scenario, I could buy smoked fish off of her, but I'm not all that concerned about it. So 2 more research points, and we will have access to stone walls, and then we can start to maybe stone wall up this edge here to keep the forager protected and like start to work the walls around to make sure that our villagers aren't easily poached by raiders or bears or, you know, whatever. Can we cast beer cask? So if you guys do unlock brewery, beer is a really good trade resource. Like Atka here wants to buy it at 5 a beer, and that wouldn't be terrible to sell. There we go. I just made 1,000 gold off of old Atka here. The other thing that I could do with all of this new gold is, instead of having a shrine, which is like discount religion, to go full into temple, we now make 15 gold per month, which could pay for a temple. And a temple, the advantage of the temple, as I was mentioning before, is it allows you to house relics. So so we could have up to 2 relics housed in our temple. So should I spend my gold income on a temple? If not, I'll spend it somehow else. I'll spend it with... I don't quite have enough for Healer's House. That's 25 monthly cost. But if not, what we could do is we could hire more troops or something like that. So, I'll give you 5 minutes to vote in this poll. It's not really urgent. And the Weaver building site is almost done. We have to salvage the relics in the map. So there are excavation sites where you could get relics or you could buy them. Both way works. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relics on the map. I think 6. Wait, 6 or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relics that we could salvage on the map. And a temple can house up to 2 of them. So you pick which 2 you want. And here's the other trader. What are you buying? Nothing I want to sell you. Bummer. Predators. Ah, crap. You know what? Actually, this is not so bad. I have like a bunch of hunters in the area.
What is it?
Including Vittoria, who's already shooting at it. And missing, granted, but still.
It will
Chloe,
be done.
run! Run, Chloe, run!
As you
Vittoria,
wish.
run! Ceteris and Halony, shoot it. My troops are on their way, but this bear is freaking out because I've already half killed it. They flee once wounded, so it's starting to already run for me. We're gonna get you. I'm gonna have a nice rug at the end of this season. Boom, it's dead. Alright, looks like you guys do want a temple. So... I think what I'll do is build the temple down here. Eventually, this temple's going to want to be moved closer to, like, the center of all the pop centers. But if I build a temple down here, and I'm just going to resolve this now, between the temple and the bakery, this corner should be desirable enough to become homesteads. Of course, I need 1,200 gold for that, but that's fine, because I just made about that in the town storage, selling hides to Atka. And then 100 stone and 100 wood planks. It's going to be a while for that to be built, but that's fine. So the priority right now is set up grain industry and build temple. Villagers are unhappy about food. Yep, because I'm not making a whole lot of it. I know. I'm working on it. They're also unhappy about clothing, but now that we have the Weaver that just got built moments ago, we have another source of clothing. So we've got the tannery making hide coats, and then we've got the weavery making linen clothes. And wearing both is ideal for the average citizen. Oh boy, food shortage. Hey, Ander, are you selling food? You're not. Bummer. And Otgar already left. Okay, double bummer. Thank you for tuning in to Farthest Frontier 1.0, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow settlers.